Let's grow easy hydroponic basil. All you're going to need is a rooted basil plant, just like this one. You're going to need a container in which to grow it, and you're going to need a nutrient solution. And oh, I forgot, you're going to need a pool noodle as well, because we're going to be growing this in our swimming pool. I'm just kidding! I'll get to this in just a moment. We're going to be using the Kratky method, which is named after Bernard Kratky, a researcher in the University of Hawaii who discovered this method in the early 1990s. The idea behind it is if you've got a nutrient solution in a container and if you dangle a little plant in it with its roots touching the water, the roots will continue to grow into the water, and as they grow, they drink the water, and this gap is going to increase, and that is going to be providing the air that is also needed for the plant to grow. So that's the magic of the Kratky system. In most hydroponic systems, you do need some kind of circulation, a little air pump that will bubble air through the system in order to give the plant roots the air that they need. But in the Kratky system, because of this gap here, the aerial roots get what they need. It is also a set and forget system, which means that if you give it sufficient liquid, this thing will continue to grow until it absorbs all of the liquid. In this, I'm growing it in a half-gallon container, so I'm restricted by the size of the container. And in this case, bigger is better. The larger the container, the longer the basil will grow happily. So this is the final part of our easy hydroponic setup. We've got our rooted cuttings, which we did in the first step. We've got our supplies, which we did in the second step. And we've explained the method that we're going to be using, which is the Kratky method, which is a passive hydroponics growing method, a set and forget. Can't be simpler than that, right? So today we're going to set up. Let's do it. But first, I wanted to show you how the cuttings were doing. It's been about a week, a little over a week, maybe 10 days since we got these cuttings set up, and look at those roots, guys. Those are some fantastic roots that have grown on these cuttings, and they are ready to go to their final home. And I've already added my hydroponic nutrients to this half-gallon of water. It calls for a teaspoon per gallon for a non-circulating system, so that's what I've done. And if you're wondering what we were going to do with the pool noodles, aha, this is what we're doing. Cut a slice of it about 1 inch thick, and then cut off a piece of it so it looks like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the plant, like this one, and you're going to put the pool noodle around it, just like this, and you're going to be putting it inside the mouth of the container. And you want to make sure that it's a squishable type of foam that you're using so you can get it nice and tight in there, and the roots are dangling in the water. And really that's it. Oh, and one more step. You want a piece of foil to wrap around it because this will delay the formation of algae on your hydroponic setup. So that's it. Put it away where it gets some nice sunshine, maybe on a sunny windowsill, maybe under some grow lights. And that's all you need to do. Set and forget, and just start harvesting as soon as it's big enough. Now I want to show you what it looks like after about 10 days. Because I set this up, I'm trying to go ahead of you guys just so I can show you what you can expect. So let me show you what my hydroponic setup is looking like that I started 10 days ago. Ta-da! All these started out as a cutting no bigger than about this one. And look at them, from 1 set of leaves to 3 sets of leaves. These are actually ready for harvest. Actually now 4 sets of leaves. These are ready to start harvesting, guys. So that's how fast hydroponic setups grow. If you want to know how I rooted this basil, or if you just want to follow along with the videos that I'm posting around hydroponics, check out the playlist in my profile. It's called Grow Together Hydro Basil. And if you've got any questions, please do leave them in the comments below. If I see sufficient questions that are common in nature, I will do follow-up videos as well, or I'll just do my best to answer the questions, and maybe folks in the community can answer as well. So definitely leave your questions below. This is so much fun, you guys, and this is really the best way that I have found to make basil survive through winter. I've tried overwintering it, just never works out. This always does. It's just so much fun to have basil as well as other herbs like parsley and cilantro and oregano. They all grow really well. Mint too, by the way, grow really well in Kratky. And you can also do leafy greens, lettuce, bok choy, spinach, all those greens do super well in hydroponics. Anything with a short life cycle, and leafy greens particularly do super well in this method. So try it out, experiment. It's all about the experimentation and the fun of learning. So I hope you really give it a try, and do share it with a friend as well. Like this video if you found it helpful. And until next time, folks, live green and love your greens.